Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Cody.
And we're going to be here tonight recapping Celebrity Big Brother again. But Cody, tell them what they need to know. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to need you to go in to your YouTube, subscribe to the channel, turn on those bell notifications. Now, some of you may be like, why do they say this every single time a video starts? Because when your notifications are on, you not only see when a video drops, I had a ton of comments and a ton of DMs of people saying, I cannot believe I missed the Winner's Circle live recap of the fantasy because I didn't have my notifications on. It is very important for you to see our videos, and it substantially helps us in the YouTube algorithm. It costs you $0 to subscribe to our channel and turn on those bell notifications, and it helps us immensely. So we really, really do appreciate it. We wouldn't be saying this to you if it wasn't something that really benefited the channel. So we love you guys. We love the community we're building. But as always, turn on those notifications, subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on audio, drop a 5-star rating if you think we deserve it, and leave a comment, because all of these things really help the channel grow and really help us continue to do what we are doing here with you guys.
Said it perfectly. And for those of you who don't know, obviously Cody and I do a recap, basically our assessment of the week, on Wednesdays. You'll be seeing this on Thursday for you guys. And then we do a fantasy draft update as well on Fridays or Saturdays, where it's myself, it's Cody, it's my co-host from Crime Weekly, Stephanie Harlow, and it's Big Brother 23's America's favorite player, Tiffany Mitchell. And so it's a really good night. It's a lot more loose. We're just kind of sitting there. We're throwing jabs at each other. The conversations are kind of crazy. Some of the stuff we talk about.
Our last live was awesome, right?
Yeah, it's completely BB related, and we usually have a couple of drinks in there, and things start talking. It's fun though. I have a lot of fun doing the live. I mean, that's probably the favorite night of the week, right?
It's great. It's great to come on here and just kind of be a little more loose, have a drink, do the live. It's uncut, and it's fun to interact. I think I would like Derrick and I. We've talked about this a lot. We want to do more lives, just us two. Also answer your questions, because I know a lot of you have a lot of questions, and your comments on our videos are amazing. Sometimes you check us, and it makes us have a conversation like, oh wow, wait, we were a little off on this. It's amazing. I love the community that we're building on here. We really do appreciate it. But like we've been saying, all this other stuff really helps us grow and really helps us continue to do this. And so we appreciate everything. We appreciate all the people that come into our lives. But if you don't want to miss the live, you want to make sure you have those notifications. Yeah,
because we're random. Like last week, we were supposed to do it on Friday. We didn't do it till Saturday because the episode went late. And oh, by the way, just want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to everyone who went out and purchased the Winner's Circle merchandise. It flew off the shelf. It went really good, better than we thought it was going to go. So we're really pumped about it. So if you didn't get yours yet, just click the link in our description below. It should be on YouTube. I'll try to get it into the audio comments as well. But if you go on our Instagram, Winner's Circle Cast, you click the little hyperlink up at the top there, it brings you right to the merch page. We have this t-shirt, obviously. We also have long sleeves, different colors, different options as far as sizes. It should be for everybody. So if you want like a teal shirt, we got you covered. If you want just a plain black like this, which is what I like, we got you there. And we were already talking, like, as time progresses, we're going to come out with some hoodies, some different designs. So we really appreciate everyone who went out and bought the shirts, because it goes a long way. It helps us build the channel, helps us upgrade the equipment, and it just shows your love and support for us. So it means a lot.
What's your favorite color? Long sleeve, short sleeve? What's your favorite one?
100%. I love our logo, because this is our logo, right?
Yeah.
This one or the white one, which we didn't even do a white one the first time around. We wanted to stick with the black, but I like the long sleeve blue shirt that I wore with the white and yellow logo on it, because I don't know, the blue and gold just pops for me. And I'm also a big like long sleeve t-shirt person. I don't have the guns like you. So you know what I mean?
I don't wear the short sleeves either, because I look at my arms and think they're awkward. So I like long sleeves. Is that weird? I mean, I feel like
if you think your arms are awkward, I'm really in rough shape, because you're in way better shape than I am.
I like the long sleeve gray, which I'm not wearing any of my Winner's Circle merch, because I only got 2 shirts, and it's not enough, because I've run through them. Like, they're what I wear to the gym all day during the day. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, we're recording today. I threw my stuff in the wash, and I was like, man, stuff's in the dryer. I didn't plan it out properly. And so now I have my stuff just sitting in the wash, because that's how much I wear it. I love the shirts. And so
they're comfortable.
We do appreciate it.
And we picked a higher premium tee. So there's like the basic tee, which is more of like the ones you would get at like the mall.
Mm-hmm.
These are the more like the softer fabric, the upgraded premium t-shirt, and they're super comfortable. The fit on me is great. I mean, this is an XL. It fits me good in the arms. It's not like hanging off of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good t-shirt. We're proud of it. I wouldn't put something out there if we weren't proud of it. So if you want to check it out, you can go there. Anything else? I know we wanted to talk about.
Well, let's before we get into the episode, we just hit the Winner Circle ad, but now we're going to get into who sponsored this week's episode.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on this show, and this month we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health. For example, some people think you should wait until things are unbearable to go to therapy, but that isn't true. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse, and it can help you avoid those lows. Many people think therapy is for so-called crazy people, but therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you recognize that all humans have emotions, and we need to learn to control them, not avoid them. And we've been taught that mental health shouldn't be a part of normal life, but that's wrong too. We take care of our bodies with the gym, the doctor, and nutrition. We should be focusing on our minds just as much.
Yeah, I love BetterHelp. Recently, I started using it because I felt like I needed to get out of my own head. I was weighing myself down with just overwhelming thoughts of, am I doing enough? Am I going to get anything done today? Am I going to, oh man, I backed up today and now am I going to get it done tomorrow? And I just needed somebody to talk to outside of my immediate circle. And so BetterHelp was great. And I definitely look forward to using it more and more throughout this year. The great thing about BetterHelp is it's customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and so the Winner Circle listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/winnercircle. Again, that's BetterHelp.com, BetterHelp.com/winnercircle, and you will get 10% off your first month.
All right, so we're back. Real quick before we start talking about this week and what's happened so far, just wanted to, again, we addressed it on the live. We'll address it here because, again, this is we hear from you guys in the comments. So yeah, it's not a one-way street. We're talking to you directly right now. We get your feedback in the comments. Cody and I read all the comments.
Yeah.
We may not respond to all of them, but we read them all. There's been a few comments, not a lot, but you still matter, even though you're in the minority as far as the comments. And a couple people are upset because this year we've decided to make the thumbnails more lively, have pictures of the people we've interviewed in them, give a little bit of an insight into what we're going to be talking about in the episode. And trust me, there's a rationale behind that. Last year, some of you guys bitched as well, and we changed it. We went and we only made it like this white, vague thumbnail. And frankly, nobody clicks on it because they're looking for a certain thing as they're scrolling through. And even though we're talking about that thing that they're looking for, we don't put any insight in our thumbnail to it being in there or in the title. So they just scroll past it. So understand that the reason we're doing it is not like, hey, screw you. You didn't catch up on the episodes this week. You're tough luck for you. We're doing it to grow the channel and to have more people see it. And I think you would all agree that our thumbnails this year, shout out Cody, are way better than our thumbnails last year. Because if you go through our list of episodes last year, basically all of them look like the same episode. You can't even tell it's different unless you read the little fine print on the thumbnail. So that's not a effective means for marketing and growing the channel. That's like been proven. So we want you to know it's not like an insult. We're not ignoring you. But what I would say is if you know that you haven't watched the episodes yet, maybe make sure if you see our channel pop up in your feed, just scroll past it quick or whatever. You can definitely avoid it, but understand that we're going to talk about things as they come up because a lot of people, especially with how accelerated this season is, have already watched the episodes.
Yeah.
So we don't want to get too far behind.
Yeah.
Cody, what do you think about all that?
No, I think you hit everything. Because we doing a lot right now. We're just trying to get everybody to understand where we're coming from. We appreciate all the support. We don't want to push people away, but we do have to continue to do what is best for our channel. And so that's why it may seem like we just went through a bunch of stuff for you, but our merchandise is new. We see these comments, so we do want to address them. And we want to make sure you understand where we're coming from on our side when we're doing this, because we've had people reach out to us. When I was doing the thumbnail, so many people, higher up people that do it for way bigger companies, then the winner's circle.
We can even say Stephanie Harlow said it. She's like, dude, I can't tell which episode's which.
Right. A producer from ESPN that handles their online, their YouTube reached out to us. Like,
I remember
it's crazy how people that watch the show are just like, there's a lot of people. So a high up at ESPN was like, your thumbnails are not going to get good clicks. There's nobody knows what they are. He's like, there's no way you're going to make that go viral because like, it's not going to get to random people because a random person will see it and just move on. They're like, I don't really know what that is. Right. And so he had the idea to put mine and Derrick's photo in it. So we're just trying to help you understand why we do what we do. So that it doesn't seem like you're leaving a comment. It's like, oh, Derrick and Cody don't care. Because I also saw that one. There was a comment where somebody was like, Derrick and Cody don't care about their fans. And that's just like an asinine remark to make.
Yeah.
We really do. We're just trying to make it a well-oiled machine.
And we said it before, we talk about the show regardless of whether we're recording or not. The reason we're doing this is to just stay in touch with you guys. I like podcasting. I know you're new to it, but you like it. Yeah. And so it's an avenue, it's a platform for us to do what we enjoy, talk about a show we love, but also interact with you guys instead of, responding to one tweet or one Instagram comment. It's like whoever wants to see this, you can hear exactly how Cody and I would talk to each other if the cameras weren't on. So I know as a fan myself, I would enjoy that, watching my favorite players talk about the game, especially, we've had a little success on the show.
We did okay.
We did all right.
It was, we probably won't get us back, but that's neither here nor there. But let's dive into this celebrity.
Yeah. 9 minutes. Whoever's still with us after all this self-promotion. We
love you.
Shout out to you. 9 minutes in and you've gotten an ad, you've gotten merch drops. You've got, if you're still here, you're a real one.
You're a real one. Or you know what? Maybe you fast forwarded to this point. But we're not gonna necessarily recap this specific episode because a lot has happened. We'll start recapping based off of what happened essentially after our live until now. Yep. And I will say for me, because I saw a week where I had one of my players win HOH. You had a week where when your player won HOH, they sent one of your fantasy players home.
Sent Mariah home.
I couldn't have been more disappointed in how Carson handled his HOH week. It was poorly played. It was short-sighted. It was misguided. He literally allowed, which is Big Brother 101. When a person puts you on the block the week prior, anything they say to you that next week is to save their butt to try to literally buy a week to come after you again.
That's right.
And anybody that, and I feel like Carson knows the show. I feel like he watches the show. So I was super surprised by his move to so easily be flipped by Todrick, who it's like Todrick came to Carson and Cynthia when you had trust issues with him in the beginning. And then and he knows that you're going to go after his number one person. Like Todrick and Misha are attached at the hip. I couldn't believe that Carson and Cynthia, because Cynthia is just his fault. Because I feel like she could have,
they both bought it.
They both bought it and they could have treated that equally. Like Carson would have trusted Cynthia to do something if she said it. And I just felt like the conversation that Cynthia and Shayna had was like, I was like, what is going on here? She literally just took Carson off the block last week. And that is a bad thing when everybody in the house knew that Carson was Misha's target. I couldn't believe that Shayna went home. I didn't like what I was reading about how Shayna was being ostracized on the block. And it's mostly coming from somebody who I think is digging themselves a grave. And they're going to have to answer for a lot of things. We don't really need to touch on it too much. Todrick, and this was somebody that we were rooting for, really pulling for. It's kind of been shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah.
A lot with a lot of things he's saying. Racial things, just distasteful things, kind of attacking people and then playing the victim. I don't love that. And I really hope that Todrick comes out and has something to say about it, watches it, reflects on it, and doesn't still continue to come out and think all these people did me wrong. Because he's doing a lot of people wrong. He's doing a lot of people wrong. There's a lot of people sounding off about it.
Twitter has not been kind to Todrick. I think, and this is not only coming from you and I, someone who is a good friend of both of us, Tiffany from Big Brother 23, was part of an alliance that we both have said is probably the greatest alliance of all time, as far as what they were able to accomplish. The cookout, we don't have to go over it. We know what they were playing for. It was a genuine cause that they were never going to go after each other, never going to nominate each other. They had a plan. And obviously, everyone knows Todrick had them all at his house. He's very close with some of them. And I feel like he saw that success and he might be trying to use some of that to further his strategy in this game The question is does he really believe it? Is he really there for that? Because I've heard things where people have said, he'll say in one breath, we can't let the white woman win, but he's aligned with a white woman who had blonde hair as well, because he said the white blonde woman, Misha Tate, was blonde before she went into the house.
I know.
So it feels like he's using a cause that was authentic with the cookout, and he's putting that on other people of color like Lamar, expecting them to follow suit, even though he may not truly feel that way because again, he's aligned with someone who is a white woman. So we're not in his head. He's definitely not making any friends in the social media world. And I hope that when he gets out, he has some time to reflect, maybe talks about it with, Tiffany or someone and does something to kind of try to explain his rationale behind it. I don't know if there's a good reason or not, but it always sucks to see it. And back to game wise, as far as what you said with Carson, take away that he didn't pick up on the read, that these people were going to say whatever they had to say to save their own asses, right? But he should have just he's a smart guy. He should have just looked at it from a numbers perspective. You just got rid of Chris Kirkpatrick. He was aligned with Shayna. So that's a tandem, right? That's a duo. The other duo in the house was Todrick and Misha. And then he had his duo, him and Cynthia. Wouldn't it make sense to break up the final duo that's left?
Other than your duo.
Other than your duo, so now you're in the majority, and then all you got to do is pull in like a Todd or a Lamar, and like you're really doing well.
Yeah.
But instead, you go after I mean, by no means was she like not a good player, but like the injured animal who just lost her ally and is basically a non-threat. She's only one person. She's kind of out there on an island, and you decide to get her out. I think there were better targets, and when we get into spoilers later in this episode, I think that's going to be proven. And as we talk about where we are right now in the house as we speak.
Yeah. I wanted to backtrack a little bit because I want to give some context to people that may be watching our videos that are like, what are they talking about with Todrick? What did Todrick say?
That's true. Good point.
The quote was, Lamar comes out, says, Misha is a beast. This was on the feeds. Yeah. Todrick goes, I know, but in 2022, do you want to help some white blonde girl get to the end? And Lamar, to that, obviously was like kind of shook. He was like, wait, what does color have to do? What's color of her skin have to do with anything? So when we're talking about this, that's what we're talking about with when Derrick mentions, the cookout did something to make, to make sure that a person of color was the winner. Or you know what? I should say it should be a black person because person of color is not just black people. That's a ton of different people.
No, they wanted a black winner.
They wanted a black winner.
You're right. Yeah.
And so they were doing it because they wanted a black winner, not because
they were very transparent about that.
It's 2021. We want to help the first black winner of Big Brother. Not we really are going to help a white person win. It's like
we don't want to help a white person. Yeah.
That's where we have the issue. I don't like that at all. I think it's race baiting. I don't like it. It's like kind of putting to something that is a narrative that has been put out there that you think people are going to jump on the bandwagon, but really at the end of the day, it's distasteful. Like no one should be doing that, period. We're going backwards.
Hey, Lamar didn't like it.
And Lamar didn't like it.
Lamar didn't like it. As a black man, he didn't like it.
Lamar said to him was just absolute pure class. And it's the truth. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all here.
And didn't it feel like he was kind of insulting Lamar's intelligence a little bit? Because here was the thing, like he was saying this thing to Lamar, like, we don't want a blonde white woman to win. And he was like, whoa, what does skin color have to do with it? And then he literally said, like, you're with Misha. What's the difference? I'm not following you.
Yeah.
And I think Todrick thought he was going to be able to say it, and Lamar was going to be like, yeah, no, I get you, and not remember that Todrick's got a final two with a white woman. So,
or it's Lamar
called him out.
Yeah, Lamar called him out, and also Lamar probably lives his life again in athletics. Like you're the best. Like you have to beat me, or I'm going to propel myself past you. Which is what Lamar Odom did in his life. And so he doesn't see like the color. He doesn't see any of that. He probably understands the issues around everything. That's not
He said it a couple times in the house.
100%.
He's said it right out. There's major problems for sure.
100%. That's not what he's talking about. What Todrick said in that moment is just pure. That's like there's something in his heart that I think, we talk a lot about stuff that's going on socially and what's in other people's hearts. Todrick needs to take a look at what's going on in his heart because that was just kind of like not a good thing to say.
Anyway, and what could also be worse about that is if he doesn't feel that way and he's using a polarizing topic like racism as strategy.
It's race baiting
in a game. It's it's a slippery slope. And, some of you guys have been like, oh, you guys aren't really talking about it. You're friends with him. I'll be the first to tell you, I like Todrick. But I don't know him that well. I've had 1 or 2 conversations with him in my entire life. I don't owe him anything. And ultimately, I'm in the boat of like, if he's out here, I want him to talk. Right now, he can't. So I want to hear what he has to say before making any conclusions, because, I don't know if he's going to have a justification for it, but I am in the school of like, let's hear what you have to say.
Right.
Are you going to own it? Right. Is it authentic when you own it? Do you truly apologize? Because I can forgive, man. It's Big Brother. I get it. I can forgive. I'm not someone who's going to be like, no, you're done for life. But I want to hear him first. And we're in this weird world right now with Big Brother where you're being held up, you're accountable for actions that you can't even respond to yet because he doesn't know what's going on, clearly, from what he's saying in there. So, I mean, are you in the same camp as far as like, let's hear what he has to say 100%. And then we'll decide, who we think he is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what you said is a perfect example. Like I've talked to Todrick a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's good friend. Paulie stayed at his house, right?
Paulie, my brother was literally, he welcomed my brother. He welcomed, a ton of people, the Big Brother 23 cast into his home, living in his home. For me, he seems like such a good-hearted person. That's why when this stuff happens, it's like, yes, I do want to hear what he has to say about it. And I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire. I don't like what he said.
No.
But it's like he doesn't have a chance to talk about it yet. So we'll hear what he has to say when he gets out of the house, whether he does it on his own.
Yeah.
But
if he doubles down and goes, I don't have a problem with anything I said, well, then, we got to make our choices as far as having someone in your circle. You know what I mean?
That's what everybody does.
Yep. And so we'll see.
Moving past that, I wanted to say something to what you were saying about the play, which, when Carson decides to not take out the final duo, the one reason why maybe he thought, and I doubt he did, but this is just how my head's going, is do you take out that duo and then leave yourself as the only duo and put that big of a target on your back? Because if I take out this duo and now I'm the only duo left, does that make everybody in the house go, they need to get broken up? So now we're in trouble. I don't think that's what he was thinking, but that could have been something that happened when you have the gameplay happening, right? Like, I don't think Carson was thinking that.
I don't think he was thinking that, 3-dimensional like you are. I mean, they're not that great. These game players, all of them, are not like really good strategists. Nobody yet has really nailed it for me where it's like, wow, I would love, these people would be incredible on a regular season. Like Chris Kirkpatrick, you had someone who I thought was going to be a great player. And even he himself was, kind of playing with the game, kind of doing what he wanted because the money really didn't matter to him. He was just having fun. But he is someone, when he first came into the house, I thought based on his, his love for the game and how long he's been watching that, he was going to crush it. But this season is messy. It's just messy, which has been fun, but it's not one of those seasons we can look back at and go, wow, that was a masterclass on how to play Big Brother. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I like Chris. I think the move, I think we talked about it on the live. We mentioned it. It was a little short-sighted. Like, you had the play developing itself. All you needed to do was just blindside on the vote. And he goes in there and is like, you know what? Let's take the person that we know they're targeting off. I don't think that's going to have any repercussions.
No, they're not going to.
I think what you said is a great point. You're like, what you want to play, you want to do all this stuff. Like, when we go in there, life-changing money. I need that money. That money's going to change my life. Them, they're like, I just want to do the thing on Big Brother that, like, I think fans would love. Like,
he's got the check. He's got the bye check coming in next week,
dude. His residuals, or what are they called? Royalties. His royalties.
I can't even imagine. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. They must be insane. Again, he's splitting them with a lot of people. But,
and he lives where? He's down in Tennessee, right?
He's down in Tennessee.
He's living nice.
Shout out Chris if you're watching.
Yeah. And I think he does watch. I love Chris. I think he was awesome. I gave him a little grief. I was like, bro, you went in there and you said, I'm not going to lie? I was like, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing?
Come on, bro.
You're a fan.
I love it. I respect it. But, I mean, come on.
What'd you think of, it's not game related, but it was fun to watch. What'd you think of the point where they end up voting out Shayna, and then after the show, like, they're in the back room, and Lamar says right in front of Todrick and Misha, like, I was trying to get Todd's attention. I was going to vote Misha out. And how about that? And how about his nomination the other night when he voted out, who was the one that he voted out the other night, like last week or whatever? They voted out, when he voted out Shayna. Did you watch that? Did you see that part where he's in the booth, the diary room, and he's doing his nails?
He's doing dude, it was like picking it back up. I was like, what?
And Julie's like, we're on live TV, right? He's like, yeah, I know. I know.
So I mean, I love him. I love Lamar. People were coming after him, but I think he said something. They were saying like I don't even know what he said, and like I don't know. So whatever, I'm going to say it. I love Lamar. He's awesome. He's real. And I loved that moment, but it also showed like, dude, what is this guy doing? He literally just had a conversation with Todd in the back room, and he comes out and Todrick's like, what are you doing in there for so long? He's like, well, it's tough because I was trying to catch eyes with Todd to tell him to vote Misha out. And then Misha's like, I got to get up. And I was like, what are you doing, Lamar?
He does not care.
Let me ask, do you think he's trying to get himself sent home? It's a week left, bro.
I've been watching some of the stuff on Twitter, and it does seem like now like he's over it and he's doing things that might try and get him evicted. But I also think that now he's back on course to stay the rest of the time and whatever. But you go through those moments where you're like, if I go home right now, I really don't care.
Yeah.
And when you have money like they have, you care even less. It's like, what am I here for? Get me out of here.
Totally.
Who do you think wins? If you had to say right now, who wins AFP for you?
Oof. I got to tell you, because we've seen this happen before. The Big Brother fandom. When somebody gets done, like how Shayna did, that gets a whirlwind of people behind you. Because I was going to say, dude, like Lamar, he's easily the most likable one. He's real. He's not the greatest Big Brother player. Like, don't come for me. I tweeted the other day, and I was like, if Lamar doesn't win America's favorite, then America sucks. And people were like, the guy that doesn't even know how to play the game has to be explained every single day what's going on. I was like, all right, like, don't come for me, but he's likable. So he's my favorite. You don't have to. I forgot that America's favorite was like the greatest Big Brother player this season that didn't win. I forgot that's what it was. Like, I don't remember that's how it being.
I'm undecided. It's between Lamar and Shayna for me. Shayna definitely wanted to play more. She was there for the game, but Lamar does something about him that's so like authentic. It's like it's refreshing because everybody goes in there. And people are who they really are, but there's always a little bit of a filter, there because they know they're on live TV.
Yeah.
I truly think like the dude you're seeing, that is 100% Lamar Odom.
100%.
Like, he doesn't know any other way.
Dude, what about the thing Lamar did with Todrick with the cards? And I was just talking about that before this.
Yeah, that was crazy. I saw on Twitter. I didn't see it on the live feed, but essentially Todrick had ordered playing cards. They arrived. Lamar got him somehow and was like tearing him up. And there was like a back and forth between him and Todrick where Todrick was like, hey, that was an asshole-ish thing to do. And he was like, listen, man, it is what it is. A lot of people doing things that are kind of crazy in here and saying things that are kind of crazy in here. And I don't know exactly what he was referring to, but it sounded like it might be some of the things we were talking about earlier because this was shortly after that conversation. And then, Todrick went on and Lamar's like, too bad. Sorry you paid so much for those cards. Like, being obviously sarcastic. So I think at that point he really was trying to get himself evicted. And there was a point during the week where there was talk about him possibly going home. But do we want to get into that right now where we kind of transition to talk about where we are? Because
let's do that.
Because as of we know as of tonight, right? Let's go into the HOH.
Yeah. So the HOH is played out. Super impressed by Todd and his palette. He wins the HOH. Everybody is I feel like Todd's a wild card. He, ends up doing absolutely nothing. He just goes after Carson and like he's like talking like, oh, everybody thought that Todd came to sleep the whole season, but I'm here to play. You're nominating Carson. Like you've known that that Misha and Todrick wanted Carson out. You're doing nothing on your own. So no, you're not. Like that doesn't prove to us that you're playing the game, Todd. I hate to say it to you. But he wins. He puts up Carson and Lamar Odom. Lamar is like his pawn. He doesn't want to put Cynthia up, which honestly on a Big Brother level is just obviously such a dumb play because what Carson and Cynthia were able to figure out very quickly is the obvious reason why you don't leave Cynthia off the block because it's like, what are you doing, dude? You're going to put Cynthia off, Carson on, and allow Cynthia to win and take him down? And now you lose one of your numbers? Safe. What are you doing?
Right.
So it
wasn't good.
I mean, it just shows how, like you were saying it before, we weren't watching this season for incredible Big Brother play, and we're definitely not getting it at all.
I will say this, we were giving Todrick a hard time a little earlier, and that's a personal thing, right? But as far as the game's concerned, him and Misha, their ability so far to, Misha was on the block last week, but he hasn't been on the block yet. Mm-hmm. He's been able to kind of sneak his way through the game. Even though everyone has said he's doing that. Like everyone knows what he's doing, and yet nobody's put him on the block. So from a Big Brother perspective, just a game perspective, nothing else, Todrick is doing the right thing. He's got a good game going so far. He's yet to be nominated. There's not many people left. His number one ally, who's probably the best player in there in competitions at least, is still there as well. So he's in a really good position to make final two. The problem for him is going to be jury management and getting the votes. I think he's going to have a problem in that category.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, the fact that they come out to their families, to the show, to watch the live feeds. You were saying it earlier before we started that Mariah has been tweeting constantly about the live feed, so she's watching it. Jury management is very different here. It's almost like you have to play this game respectfully, and you have to play this game where people understand what you're doing, even if they don't fully understand the game. And I don't think Todrick has done that. I don't think he'd get a single vote. I think that people would respect Misha just being like kind of like hard-nosed, just, I'm about the guys. Misha reminds me of like a beast mode cowboy, just like I'm here to compete. Beat me in this comp, and then I have no problem saying you won and I'm out. And so I think a lot of people, if Misha goes to the end, she'll 100% she'll get almost everybody's vote, I think.
Oh yeah, over him. And I think
over anybody.
I agree. And you already have Chris Kirkpatrick, who's out. He's got a personal thing with Todrick. Shayna's got a personal thing with Todrick. Mariah, I don't know where she goes, but if they go off of what social media and what they're seeing on, on all these different platforms, and they want to be in that camp, they're not going to vote for Todrick. I mean, it would be hard for me to believe that Mariah and all these others don't know what Twitter and Instagram and everyone's saying about Todrick. And in spite of that, they're going to vote for him. Like even Carson likes Todrick, but when he gets out, his PR team, as well as himself, is going to see like the response to Todrick online. I don't know if Carson comes back on finale night and says, I'm still voting for Todrick. I don't know. Maybe he does.
I don't know. Maybe Carson also, I do think that Carson watched the show, but I also think that Carson was probably going to be like, wait a minute. I was super tight with Todrick that entire season. He was literally trying to get me out the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I saw Todrick say something about Shayna. He's just very misguided right now, Todrick. He's saying about Shayna like, oh, I protected her this whole game. It's like, what? When?
Yeah.
I mean,
we've seen that before in regular seasons too, right?
Yeah.
Someone's so delusional. They're like, I'm the master of this house. I'm the puppeteer. And it's like,
well, he kind of is, to be honest.
He is.
He is the puppeteer of that house. He's just doing it in like a and no disrespect to this guy because I don't really even know him that well. He's doing it in like a Paul Abrahamian way, how he was on 19, just like polarizing, like almost like rule the mob by like I don't even know what it is. But Todd,
he keeps creating conflict, right?
Yeah,
like that was what Paul Abrahamian did, where he wanted to keep it divisive, where the two sides didn't communicate with each other and therefore can never coordinate as far as like, hey, let's compare information. Oh, he's telling you this. Well, he's telling me this. So he's kind of creating this division, like even you had said earlier with Cynthia and Carson. He created that wedge between them and Shayna. So by the time they talked, Cynthia was like fired up. She had no time for Shayna. She's like, nope, I'm done with you. And Shayna's sitting there trying to explain to her, and it was in one ear and out the other.
Right. Which is why Shayna said what she said to Julia, just like, what was the point? Like, I'm not going to fight in this moment while I'm sitting here trying to plead to them. Like, I couldn't even get them to understand the game that they were playing in the house, and it was their game.
Right.
So,
want to talk about nominations?
So here's your chance. Here's your chance to leave because we are going to go into I said the nominations. We're going to go into who won the veto and how we think that's going to play out.
Yep, absolutely. Because there have been some things that have happened. We know who won the veto. We have an idea based on social media what's going to happen. So if you don't want to know that, this would be the time to exit. We appreciate you. We love you. Hopefully you're sticking around.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Misha wins the veto.
That's right.
She's obviously not going to use it, right? Like, what would be the purpose?
The talk is already, they're not using it.
Like, I wouldn't even see why. Like, what to put Cynthia next to Carson? It's like, why? So that Todd has to, like, it's obvious that you would be doing that. Like, why would you put her on the block?
Yeah.
Just let Lamar get out. Let Lamar get the live show. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say.
Does he give a shout out to Chloe?
100%. They did another tidbit tonight on the Chloe and Lamar
that's right.
dance that he's been having. You know why? I think he's just really Bro, you don't get the backyard. You know how your head turns in there. In my head, the first time I went, my head was running at 180 miles an hour. Like, dude, what am I going to do? I just graduated. I'm not going to have my job when I get out of here. Like, oh, there's so much that I want to do. There's so much stuff that I didn't do in the past. I feel like that's what Lamar's doing. I'm like, times a billion.
I also think, and maybe I'm not like, people are going to be like, yeah, no shit, Derek, but I feel like he didn't need the money. So he, well, everybody needs the money. I shouldn't say that. Everyone could use extra money, but I feel like he saw it as an opportunity to speak to Chloe because he hasn't spoken to her.
Mm-hmm.
He knew she was going to be watching this or hearing about it. So it's his opportunity to explain to her he's changed. Because he keeps talking about her and how he wants another chance. And I think he believes this information is going to get back to her. I truly believe he didn't have any other means of communicating with her. And he figured, hey, I'm going to be on a national TV show. The last thing he did was celebrity boxing. He's got a helmet on and he's punching someone in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So not really a chance to express his feelings or how he regrets what happened. He's definitely, I don't know if she's gotten it, but he's definitely voiced those regrets and how he feels about Chloe and how he just wants one more chance. So I feel like a big reason why he went on the show was to try to get in front of a camera to explain to Chloe that, he still loves her and he still wants to be with her. I don't know how effective that's going to be, but I think in his mind, it made sense.
So Fiction Night happens. Lamar gives this crazy speech to Chloe. Julie, they decide, you know what? We're sending Lamar home. Lamar walks out. Julie goes, hold on. See that empty chair over there? There's somebody that's actually coming to sit in it. It's Chloe.
Yeah. Get Tristan out of there, Chloe. Go with Lamar. Tristan's bum.
Lamar was talking about all the things, and how what he had done. And was there a cheating scandal with him and Chloe?
I think there was.
So
I know what Tristan has.
Tristan literally has another kid.
Yeah.
That I think did he, conceive while he was still dating Chloe?
Yeah, it's like the fourth or fifth time he's been caught.
Come on, man. Come on, Chloe. Lamar's a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. Chloe, I know you're watching this, okay? You're watching the Winner's Circle. Give the guy another chance. Give the guy, Tristan, I apologize. But, hey, give the guy another chance.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely seems like his motive for why he's on there, but we will see. It's going to be, because here's the thing. Like you said, Misha wins the veto. Carson and Cynthia think there's a chance that they could use the veto to pull Lamar down, put Cynthia up to ensure that one of them go home. But it doesn't seem like they're going to complicate it like that. They're going to leave Lamar up there. And it does appear, for everybody out there who's got Carson, like Cody, Carson's going to be going home. And I think he knows it because he's already said to Cynthia, like, you're going to be next. But that's so it.
I don't know if he's going to do that to us, right? Like Chris Kirkpatrick, HOH, 3 points for you. The next week, just got him taken away. Like, you're not doing anything to help us win. Like, we're just trying to catch Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie. We're talking about our fantasy draft. If you're not following it, Stephanie Harlow, first time player, never played the game,
never even saw it.
Smoking everyone. She's smoking everybody. No, so it'll be interesting. I'm hoping, for the sake of the game, I think it'd be really cool if Lamar or Cynthia won HOH because. We want to see a change up. If that doesn't happen, I see a Todrick or Misha HOH win, honestly. And they're going to put up Lamar and probably Cynthia because Todd kept them off the block this week. And they'll send Lamar or Cynthia home. And then it's going to be whoever's left against whoever didn't win that HOH. It's going to be very difficult now with only 4 or 5 people left for Todrick or Misha not to be in the final 2. And I think they win. I'll give the final question, and I want you guys to weigh in the comments below. This is no hate, but I would have to say it's a toss up between, although Todd won an HOH, but it's kind of been a toss up for who's been removed from the game more, Lamar or Todd. And do you see a world where, let's say Todrick gets to the final 2? If he's sitting next to Lamar
gets the votes.
Even Lamar hasn't won a single competition, nothing, Lamar is getting the votes.
Again,
how funny.
You're talking about people who really, they're not saying like, oh, the money this, the money that. Like, that probably rubbed people the wrong way. You think they're not talking about how Todrick was literally talking about buying a costume with the amount of money that is the winnings of the celebrity season? They're going to be like, no, I'm going to hand it to Lamar.
So you think, you're putting it down right now, there is not a single person left in that house that doesn't beat Todrick in a final 2?
I don't know, man. I think he's just, I don't know. What is it? It's still the same amount of votes, right? It's 9 votes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends on how much of it they buy into.
It might be 8. It might be 8 because they're not letting Chris Kattan vote. They've already announced that Chris Kattan will not be voting on finale night.
America's going to get a vote.
You think so?
100%.
Oh, if that happens, then
they can't leave it, like, God forbid they can't leave it up to 8.
Split. No,
they can't do
it'll be interesting. We'll see. Any final words before we take it out?
Nope.
Guys, as always, we appreciate you joining us here on the Winner's Circle. We'll be back Friday night for or Saturday night. We'll see how it goes for the BB draft with Tiffany and Stephanie. We appreciate all the love and support. We will see you next week.